So thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully you know what you're in for, or maybe you don't, but we'll see how much you like it. Hopefully you didn't have too much to drink last night, and if you need some more, there's some whiskey chocolates at the front. But yeah, so who am I? Po prawej, lewej stronie okna wisiał firanki. That's all I learned in a year of Polish, but this is me. So I'm Kyle, typically considered a human, as we'll be talking about today. And I'm originally from Winnipeg, Canada. And now I've been living in Berlin for nearly 2 decades, so half and half. I love Halloween. I don't know how big it is here in Poland, but I actually got paid to scare people back in Canada, which was kind of fun. I don't know if you can imagine me scaring people, but apparently I was good at it. And my first job was a cook at the age of 14 in a truck stop restaurant that was open 24 hours a day on the #1 highway, only road in Canada. And I have a bachelor in mathematics and German literature that I did in Canada, and a master's in teaching German as a foreign language, which is a bit funny as a Canadian, but yeah, actually my master's thesis was instilling critical thinking skills in my students. So let's see if it works. I'm, as mentioned, the CEO and owner of Brightest, certification provider, and co-creator of the United Certification Portfolio, and in the authoring committee of ISTQB CTAI syllabus, and promoting ethical Gen AI and prompt engineering in the workplace. So why this topic? And I did slightly change the title to being more about critical thinking. So maybe you noticed it was presented slightly different, but I think it's the same. It's just a little bit more focused on my topic. I realized as I was creating the slides. Well, I spent most of my career in education, marketing, and certification, helping people prove what they know and helping organizations measure quality. And lately that's been changing faster than ever. AI and large language models are completely reshaping how we test and even think. Now, don't get me wrong. I love what AI can do. Whoa, and it's not that. Should have brought my mouse. There we go. And I love what AI can do. I use it every day. It can write, analyze, and generate test cases, even give relationship advice with some disastrous consequences. But here's the catch. The better AI gets, the more critical our human skills must become: judgment, curiosity, empathy, and the ability to ask good questions. Because AI can prepare information, but only we can understand the greater meaning. And that's what this session is really about. Not fearing AI, but learning how to keep the human touch that makes our work and hopefully our world better. Oh, maybe I'll try using this. It's buzzing. So we've got a little mascot for today. Maybe you saw a little top of their head. Axolotl the axolotl. So does everyone here know what an axolotl is? Yeah, a couple people? Any other back there? Yeah? Well, it's from Xochimilco, an area near Mexico City, and they live in the waters there. In case you're wondering what Xochimilco looks like, here's some pictures when I was there just a couple years ago. Some of you might recognize Senior Performo sitting over here. I don't know if you've been in conferences where he's usually talking to a lot of people. But yeah, we went up and down. Basically, you can attach boats to your boat with mariachi bands, with bars, with whatever, and be either with your family, friends, have a good time, and the poor little axolotls are swimming around in that water, wondering why they're going extinct. Hopefully not. But we're going to have some imagination tasks. So let's see how many of you are willing to go through with this after last night's party. So I'm going to ask you all to close your eyes. It won't be too long. Touch your nose when you closed your eyes so I know you're doing it. All right. So picture the place where you grow up. What memories come to your mind? Who are the people around you? What does the place smell like? How does it make you feel? If you had siblings or were lucky enough to have siblings, how did you interact with them? Did you always get along? Did you sometimes clash? Who was your closest friend at the time? Now here's the twist. Imagine if you were born on the other side of the world, or in a completely different period of time, say 200 years in the past, 200 years in the future. How different might your experience, beliefs, and ways of learning have been? You may open your eyes now if you like. You can keep them closed. But did you realize how hard it is to imagine what your life would have been like if you lived on the other side of the world? Maybe you've never been to the other side of the world. Maybe you have, but only for a brief moment. What it would be like to grow up there, who knows? But it's all the thought of trying to figure out what might have been like if you did live in a different circumstance. Just try and remember this for later, because we'll come back to another exercise that's a little bit more intense. So, how do humans learn? Who out there has children? Anybody? Got a few hands up? Probably know you're closer to knowing, maybe, because we've all haven't been children for a while. The what, who, why, how come this is happening? What does it mean? It's amazing as children that we're so inquisitive. As children, we want to understand everything and know what's going on and why. How do we learn? We learn through experience, trial, error, and reflection. By observation, watching, listening, modeling behavior of people around us. By making connections, linking new information to what we already know. From other people, teaching, monitoring, collaboration, or mentoring, Through structured learning, schools, books, and courses, the most standard way probably that we'll be thinking of. And finally, and most interestingly, through curiosity and making mistakes, asking questions and exploring. So what happened? Why aren't we like our younger children self? Why are we maybe less inquisitive? Maybe life happened. Maybe we've gained experience. We realize there's too much in the world and we can't know everything. So now we'll have the second imagine exercise and a little bit of a trigger warning. If you do need to open your eyes, please feel free to do so. It's, a little different than the last one, maybe. So again, if you're willing to do it, close your eyes, touch your nose. I won't close my eyes, sorry. So this time, let's set the year to 1910. There's no internet, no computers, no TV. The only way to learn about the world is through the printed newspaper and what people say around you. You were born in a particular European country, one associated with leather pants, pretzels, and large mugs of beer, especially in the fall. After 1918, life improved a little, but there are family members you'll never get to meet as a result of a devastating war. As you grow into your teenage years, things begin to look brighter. Then the propaganda drums begin faintly in the background. Ba-doom, ba-doom. In the winter of 1929, you lose your job. You wonder why, but you've done nothing wrong. Unemployment rises, industry collapses, friends lose their jobs too. The drums of propaganda stop quietly and grow louder and louder. Businesses close, loans fail, and the drums beat stronger still. You begin trading family heirlooms for food to keep your children healthy. The drums grow louder, now pointing the blame at certain minorities. Posters that once looked like jokes are showing violent messages, calling for action. Friends and neighbors begin repeating the messages they see printed, sometimes as jokes, sometimes with anger. The drums get louder. Keeping your eyes closed, ask yourself, what would I do? How would I feel? You can open your eyes if you've kept them closed. I'm not going to go further into this. We could do that in a different thing that gets a little bit more intense. But I wanted to give the feeling of the situation that you're in the masses and there's very little that you can do to change things, or at least you feel that way. It's not a pleasant thought, but I think it's an essential exercise to ask in a different time, under different pressures, what choices would I have made? And here's the hard truth. This is unfortunately not a unique story. Similar patterns still happen around the world today. Now, why do we do this exercise? For me, I think it's important because it shows us something uncomfortable. Humans don't learn and act in a vacuum. We learn from our environment, from the people around us, and from the narratives that are repeated, sometimes so often that they feel like truth. It's easy for us sitting here today to say, I would have done something differently. But history shows us that most people, step by step, followed the rhythm of the drums. Not because they were evil, don't get me wrong, but because they didn't stop to question, or they felt it was pointless to do something. And for me, that's the key. Critical thinking. Critical thinking is what helps us recognize the information is biased, when answers are being fed to us and the volume of the drums is rising. It's what allows us to step back and ask, is this really true? What's the evidence? Are there any alternatives available? This is why in times of rapid change, to get back to our topic, whether in history or in our age of AI, critical thinking is not just a skill, but a survival tool. Testing is thinking. We don't just run checks, we question behavior, context, and impact. AI can help us automate checks, but it can't replace our questioning. So here's some questions to reflect on. And now I've just went a whole bunch of slides ahead. I apologize. Oh, get it? So, what? Mouse is tricky here. Okay, I've blocked something. So when did I last accept something as true without questioning it? Have I ever shared a fact without checking it? Why do simple explanations feel so convincing in uncertain times? And what tools can help me question the drums I hear today? What is critical thinking? So it could be defined as the ability to objectively analyze and evaluate information, ideas, situations, to form well-reasoned judgments, And this might sound a bit familiar, but it involves questioning assumptions, identifying bias and hidden agendas, seeking evidence before drawing conclusions, considering multiple perspectives, and reflecting on the implications of our decisions. Many of the things a lot of us do today in our testing, oh my goodness, this is wonderful, in our testing daily work. What can AI do for us? Well, AI can check if a feature works, but it cannot yet sit in the user's shoes and ask, does this feel right? Is it accessible? Will our users trust it? AI can pass exams, write poems, and even give relationship advice with horrific precision. But it cannot turn to your colleague and say, are you okay? And really mean it. AI can write test cases, fix bugs, and push code. However, when it comes to communication with your colleagues who developed it, will it be able to read the room and say, I know this is frustrating, but how can we fix it together? Here's something a little different. Let's talk about cars for a second. And any of you who might know me, I'm not a car person. But this is a different type of cars. I don't even own a car. I ride a bike. But people are funny. We like to feel that we're in control. When automatic cars became common, a lot of people insisted on keeping their manual or standard cars, depending where you live, what you call it. But here's the thing. Are we really in control, or are we just performing control? In many cases, automation, whether in cars or testing, doesn't remove control. It shifts it to a higher level. Automatic cars improve usability and accessibility, reduce human error, and free up attention to what really matters, getting safely from A to B. That's the same with AI in our work. The goal isn't to give up control. It's to design systems where we guide automation rather than micromanage it. In testing, this means using AI to handle the repetitive shifts so we can stay focused on the road ahead, the context, the quality, and the human impact. Another just one. Don't worry, you don't have to close your eyes again, unless you want to. Toast. Toasters. I'm not sure if any of you ever saw or held one of the first toasters that were invented. Maybe you did. Maybe your grandparents had one. I don't know. Maybe you still have one today because you're one of those retro people. But my grandma had one, and it probably weighed as much as 10 toasters today. It was built like a tank, and she had it for 40 years. That could be a sign of quality. But we finally convinced her to get rid of it because it had developed a bit of a new feature. If you didn't intervene and manually pop the toast, it would just keep going until there was smoke or worse. The whole thing would get so hot you couldn't even touch it. It was durable, but yes, not exactly safe. And it makes you think, why don't we build them like that anymore? Because over time, we realized good design isn't just about power and durability. It's about usability, safety, and learning from human behavior. We added timers, sensors, automatic shutoff features that let humans trust technology instead of constantly watching and controlling it. That's the same evolution we're seeing with AI today, or I hope we're going to see with AI today. Early tools were like that old toaster, impressive but risky if left unattended. As we mature, we're learning where automation needs guardrails and human oversight matters, and how to design systems that work with us, not just for us. With the rapid advances in AI and LLMs, ChatGPT and the applications in software testing, education, healthcare, and other fields, there's transforming our everyday routines. Chatbots and virtual-powered LLMs, virtual assistants powered by LLMs, are automating customer support, automatically generate test cases, identify bugs, and predict potential system failures on historical data. And I did it again. However, smashing together information, or clubbing, may not equal understanding and/or intelligence. Required analysis and frequent checks are required. Automation isn't the same as understanding. It's where humans come in. So AI can check if a feature works. However, we can't let AI run free. In fact, we will have more to keep in check as we take on a monitoring role of AI. I think there'll actually be more tasks for testers in the future. Why are humans still irreplaceable? Well, if we think of critical thinking and judgment, AI can possess vast amounts of data, but it lacks the nuanced understanding and judgment required for complex decisions. AI can generate outputs, but true innovation often comes from combining ideas in unpredictable ways. Empathy and emotional intelligence are important. Humans excel at understanding context, emotions, and motivations. Well, let's say most humans, many humans, fill in however many humans, which are crucial in leadership and team contribution. And let's not forget the ethics. Ethical oversight is important human oversight. And so if we think of human in the loop, we could say equals tester or QA in the loop. AI is powerful, but it needs human context, judgment, and oversight to succeed. Some examples, which I believe are true, if we're taking in software testing, exploratory testing, human intuition, undercovers the things that automation misses, undercovering risks that no data set predicted. If we go to quality assurance, we can think of root cause analysis, where human reasoning connects dots across teams. And in project management, where stakeholder communication can manage expectations with empathy. The rise of AI and LLMs with ethics and the use and in testing, testers can design test data sets that deliberately include edge cases, such as different genders, names, neurodivergency, and demographics, to check for unintended bias. In testing, QA teams can verify that the AI systems log decisions in a critical way that humans can review. This may include traceable output logs, explainable reports, or clear disclaimers for the end users. In testing, the project management and test project management, keep humans in the loop for root cause analysis, ethical considerations such as user privacy, or handling customer complaints that require empathy and nuance. AI can guide, but as humans, we remain accountable. For skill development in the age of AI, consider upskilling in data literacy, prompt engineering, and AI management. These are skills that are going to be more and more valuable as we go on today. There's a need for continuous learning to remain relevant in a rapidly changing landscape. I encourage you to focus on skills that complement AI rather than compete with it. The quality of questions determines the quality of your collaboration with AI. So if you want better AI results, debug your thinking and not just your prompts. The road ahead. In the next 2 to 5 years, there'll be balanced collaboration, means shifting with conversation from will AI replace testers to how do we work smarter together. We let AI handle repetitive mechanical work, and we invest our human energy into curiosity, empathy, judgment, and questioning. That's where the new roles may emerge, and I don't know if these are true. I just tried to put some names to potential titles. AI quality analyst, prompt architects, ethical testing leads, who knows? Let's see what happens. But roles that build directly on what testers already do, asking what could go wrong, spotting bias, challenging assumptions, and keeping fairness and safety in focus. The key is not to adapt to AI, but to shape how it's used. If we only adapt, we let technology define our profession. If we stay critical, we influence how quality is defined as an AI-driven world. Testers have always collaborated to improve systems. AI is just another system, an incredible one that actually learns from us. The future isn't AI versus testers. It's testers and AI working together to define what quality means in this human world. Consider the following situation. Do you learn best from experience or the experience of others? Do you allow yourself to truly experience failure and make mistakes? How does your curiosity impact your learning? Have you ever imagined what it's like to be on the other side of a given situation? In software terms, an API is an interface, serving the bridge that follows two systems to communicate. The tester, or human, is one, creative, contextual, and hopefully ethical. AI is the system. Critical thinking is the interface that connects the two. The structured way humans interpret, query, and validate AI produces. So just like an API, lets two systems talk. Critical thinking aids how we interact with AI, asking the right questions, validating responses, and translating between data and the real world's meaning. My main call to action here is to remain critical. Probably not a hard task for most testers or QAs. It's important to remain adaptable. And staying adaptable while we embrace AI as a tool, not a threat. Doesn't mean we don't ignore that it can be a threat. Encourage collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking as essential skills in the future. And AI isn't here to replace us, but rather amplify our potential. Human plus machine could equal better quality. We begin by asking how humans learn. We end by realizing that teaching machines makes us better learners. That's what will help our testing and our humanity hopefully remain relevant. Stay curious, keep asking better questions, use AI to amplify what makes you uniquely human. Thank you, and I'm sorry for the dramatic experience. Any questions? I would like to try and pronounce that, but I'll just embarrass myself.
Hi, I'd like to ask for a comment about the limitation we may expect around the law regulating intellectual property. So there were cases when we generate an image, and then there is the signature of the original artist whose work was used to generate the image, and how that propagate in terms of the law we have right now or we may expect in the near future. If it is about the source code, we generate some test cases, and the source code that was actually used there for instance, it's on the GPL license. Yeah. So does it mean our code will be on the GPL license? Is that regulated, or we are in the dark?
That's a really good question. And I think there's a lot of things that are still being regulated. So where I'm saying embrace AI, but of course still remain critical that of course you have to be true to the rights of people that own these words and or graphics or what have you. So there's still things that are changing and every country is regulating it differently. So definitely inform yourselves and make sure that you're following. I know there's a lot of talk at the moment of creating your own closed LLMs when you want to use something like that. But of course, there's many other ways of AI with all the machine learning. So it completely depends what you're planning to do. But yeah, we're going to have to figure it out together the best way forward. But keep in mind that we have to deal with rights of people's intellectual property. I don't know if that answers your question, but